Right, protesters are planning to cause disruption and attempt to ground flights with drones at Heathrow Airport from this Friday. The group doing it is called Heathrow Pause, and they're an offshoot of climate activists Extinction Rebellion. They say they're planning to fly toy drones within its restricted zone. They hope the airport will respond by grounding all flights. The plans have been called criminal and counterproductive by Heathrow. Even Extinction Rebellion don't back this splinter group. We've brought two of the people who'll be flying the drones together with three people trying to fly from Heathrow on that day. So let's speak to Jonathan Fishwick and Sylvia Dell, who say they'll both be flying drones for Heathrow Pause. Also with us, Musira Musam, who's due to fly off on holiday with her mum, who's been unwell, on Sunday. David Hall, who's due to fly from Newcastle to Heathrow on Saturday and then on to New York. And Morgan Perry, who's due to fly back into Heathrow from San Francisco on Friday. And we did want to talk to someone from Extinction Rebellion as well, but they didn't want to join the conversation this morning. Welcome, all of you. Jonathan and Sylvia, this protest is so unpopular, even your old friends, your old muckers at Extinction Rebellion don't back it. Surely that is enough to tell you it's just too unpopular.
Unpopular it might be, but we are facing a catastrophic climate and ecological breakdown within the lifetimes of our children.
Why don't Extinction Rebellion back it? Because they know that.
They are. They are backing a major disruption in October.
They're not backing you two flying drones. I gather you're learning now how to operate a drone, is that correct? They're not backing you disrupting Heathrow in this way, Jonathan.
I think the most important thing in here is not who's doing this action, but why. Because we are...
Or the nature of the action.
How do you mean?
Is it the right thing to do?
The nature of the action is that massive disruption is the only way, unfortunately, that our government seems to pay any attention.
Yeah. OK.
When ordinary people sorry.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, when ordinary people are prepared to go to prison over this, it sends a signal that there must be something very serious going on here. And people will wake up and take notice. That is the hope, because we are seriously running out of time on this.
Sarah, do you accept that?
I think I understand that people are passionate and they want to save the world, but when it's affecting a lot of people negatively, everyone needs to be aware of climate change, and I agree with that. But if it's going about the way you're going about it, it's making everyone have a negative view on that, and it would make them want to rebel in a certain way and not want to support your cause, because they will look at climate change protesters in a negative way. And I'm sure you don't want that for yourself, but you're going to get that sort of response if you're going to go and disrupt so many flights. And there are so many people that are on that flight for important reasons as well.
What's your important reason?
So I'm going on holiday with my mum, who's been quite ill lately, and I know she really, really needs that. And if she doesn't go, it will just make me really sad for her. And it's like you're affecting personal lives. And if it's not really like the action you're taking.
Can you have it? Sorry to interrupt. Can you have it both ways? You care about climate change.
Yeah, exactly.
But you also want to take your mum on holiday.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I'm sure a lot of people care about our world and they don't want the world to end.
What would you say?
We're in a situation now where the climate apocalypse that is we're hurtling towards is so close that every flight that people are taking today and in the future is impacting on real lives. People are dying already in the global south through
let me
climate
bring in
change.
David then to acknowledge
and
that.
Also for our future generations and the children who are alive today, their lives are going to be massively disrupted in ways that go way beyond simply having a holiday delayed.
David Hall, do you accept that? Do you talk to Sylvia and Jonathan?
Absolutely not. It's completely irresponsible the way in which these protesters are going about making their point. The fact is that the United Kingdom is leading the way in terms of both the G8 and the G20 in trying to drive down carbon emissions. What they should be doing is protesting outside of the main contributors to carbon emissions. People like the Brazilian embassy or the Chinese embassy, that's where they should be targeting. Not innocent people who are going about their daily business, going on a holiday, as that other contributor was saying, going away with family and friends. We're going to incur costs because of this. financial costs individually, that is completely unfair. What they're going to do is they're going to turn the UK public against their cause. It's totally counterproductive.
How do you respond to that? It's counterproductive, Jonathan.
I hear what you're saying, and I really want to speak to the people who are disrupted by this, and I want them to know that I do deeply care, and I've weighed this very heavily.
No, you don't. The fact that you're going ahead with this protest shows that you don't care.
It doesn't show that I don't care. It shows how much I care, because I'm prepared to go to prison over this. The irresponsibility here lies with the government. When you press ahead with a third runway, knowing that the house is already on fire, adding to the fire is totally irresponsible. We're talking about people's lives here, not their inconvenience. Every day, 1,000 people die as the result of the effects of the climate breakdown, most of them children. I can't stand by and do nothing when that's happening.
Morgan,
yes, but do something that's actually going to make a difference. As I've said, Britain is doing more than any other G20 country. Go and protest outside the Brazilian embassy about why they're not doing something to put out the fires in the Amazon. Do something that actually makes a difference, rather than just standing up and saying, look at me, which is what I think you're doing.
Okay.
Morgan, what do you say? Sorry, Jonathan. Morgan Perry, come in.
Yeah, for sure. I do tend to support the argument that we really should be lobbying corporations and governments to change their actions and methods to help reduce the effects of climate change. From what we've seen so far, many of the protests by sort of similar movements haven't actually resulted in much change. Therefore, I fail to see how this is going to be any different.
Well, I think Extinction Rebellion really have taken the lead on that. When you say that lobbying the Brazilian embassy and taking action against the corporations, that's really where Extinction Rebellion excel. And after their actions in April, they actually... we were the first country to declare a climate emergency.
But do you acknowledge that this is different? I want to read you what the Met Police say.
Yeah.
In response to the possibility that drones will be used to ground flights with the aim of disrupting flights and the travelling public, I want to be clear the Met will do everything in its power to prevent and stop any such criminal activity. The dangers of flying drones in airspace used by airliners carrying passengers are stark, and the consequences potentially very severe. You must acknowledge it is totally different from sitting in the centre of London or Manchester or Newcastle to stop cars going through. It's dangerous.
There's 2 points. No, there's 2 points. The first is this action has been designed to be entirely safe. We're flying toy drones.
You don't know that.
At head height. Yes, we do.
It's
we do.
Absolutely 100% safe. These
it is
drones
100%
will be
safe.
flown at head height, way outside of the flight paths of any flights. It's totally 100% safe. Otherwise,
However,
I wouldn't
it
be
is
party to this.
100% illegal, because that is the essence of why we're doing this. The social science, the evidence tells us that to bring about social change, in the same way that Gandhi and Mandela and then the other peace protesters have done, the essence of bringing about social change is non-violent disruption, respectful. So we respect all of the views that are put forward here today. It has to be disruptive, and it has to have a sacrificial aspect.
Right. So
we are prepared to make that sacrifice.
And you're in the process going to sacrifice David's journey, Morgan's journey, and your holiday with your mum.
With the greatest of respect, a journey is something they can do again at a different time.
Morgan, how do you
I'm
respond to
prepared
that?
to go to prison.
You can come back from San Francisco at any time.
As much as I'd love to, I have work next weekend. So, whilst I appreciate that, yes, I can take a journey at any time, that, it's not convenient for me to do that.
You can go on holiday with your mum any time.
Exactly. Also, it's people, people could be on that flight because their mum's dying, and this could be the last time they see them. And because their flight's cancelled, they happen to pass away, and it'll be because of that. But also, you say that the drones are safe. Are you experts with the drones, firstly? Secondly, you don't know what the weather conditions might be that day. Do you know what I mean? That could disrupt another flight. That could cause, as the police say, like something
we know
really
where
dangerous.
we're flying.
Okay.
We know we'll be at least a mile away from the runway, and we know that we're not going to be flying it much above head height.
I want to give David a final word. Your last opportunity to appeal to Sylvia, Dell and Jonathan Fishwick from Heathrow Pause to ask them to not fly their drones and disrupt flights on Friday.
Well, those two protesters have just shown the ridiculousness of their argument when they said it's 100% safe. In the introduction to when you introduced them, they spoke about the fact they're just learning to fly drones right now. Those two don't marry up. It's a huge risk. Something could easily go wrong. And I hope they can live with themselves when something does go wrong.
Have you ever flown a toy drone? They are so simple to fly. It is literally a case of pressing the buttons.
Oh,
Okay.
so you're an expert, OK.
But I would
I'm going to
like
leave it
just...
there. No, I'm sorry, I've got to leave it there. Thank you. John on email says anyone flying drones on purpose near airports should be classified as terrorists, and the government should make this act a terrorist act against the national interest. Pete says, I hope the police are waiting outside your studio to arrest the two climate change vandals who intend to put lives at risk at Heathrow. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you for coming on the programme, all of you. We appreciate it. Now, the leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, is giving a speech to trade